Chapter 30. I awake long enough to find my cheek pressed against a cold window. Opening my eyes, I see trees rushing by one after another. It makes my stomach roll, and I have to look away. Swallowing, I turn my head again to see. These aren't trees we had around Impetus. They have fruit bearing on them. Oranges. The speed of the scenes passing by makes me sick. I close my eyes to settle my stomach. I can't discern if I'm dreaming or not. I focus on the chill of the window to help ease my nausea. Forcing my eyes open again, I note the scenery has stopped moving and changed drastically. Concrete replaced the grass, and towering buildings replaced the trees. Buildings once existed that were as tall as 60 of our buildings, Gavin had told me. They still exist, I say in my mind, as though Gavin could hear me. Women in long dresses with various prints and colors make me ache for Jacqueline to see this. She would love to wear garments like these. Men in loose, monotone clothing pass the women while keeping their eyes to the ground, avoiding contact with one another. The buildings and clothes are like nothing I've seen in person, only in books from the before. When I try to move my head, a sharp pain radiates down my neck to the tips of my fingers. I'm in a room by myself. A burgundy cushioned bench is under me and across from me. A door is to my left. I try to think where I am, but exhaustion wins. I don't want to think or move. I can't. Instead of trying, I rest my forehead back on the window and watch the people. This must be what other communities look like. How strange. I fall asleep again, but am soon jolted awake. Screeching and rumbling precede the railcar stopping. The sounds are familiar. So familiar. I carefully turn my head and gasp at the sight of an ominous figure standing in the doorway. He's wearing a dark suit with a gray shirt poking out, perfectly crisp. He's tall with broad shoulders and a muscular frame. "It's time to go." His voice is rough and low. Grabbing my arm, he commands, "Now." "Ah!" I protest. "Stop." My voice is weak. I have no energy. There's nothing in me that can fight back or resist. I doubt he even heard me. The man drags me out of the door and through a narrow hallway. My shoes and knees scrape against the metal floor, hitting a strip of bumps that causes him to stumble, which only makes him yank me harder. Another set of powerful doors zoom open, fresh air blowing my hair. He lugs me down several steps before I land in the arms of another man dressed exactly like him. Wobbly and dazed, my feet finally land on concrete, and I sigh with relief. After struggling a few steps with me limply hanging between them, the men stop. One lifts his watch to his mouth as though making a call. I try to listen to what he says, but I can't focus enough to make out his syllables. Glancing over my shoulder, I see the real-life version of the gift I had given Gavin for his last birthday. The thing that haunted my dreams for many years. A train. This is a real train. I admire its slick black exterior and how such a large machine can be carried on incredibly thin wheels that move by a track. These still exist. Gavin would love to see a train. Gavin. My knees weaken. I see Gavin's head bouncing on the ground, painting it red. One of the men dips down to catch me. My head wobbles from side to side. A sharp stick pinches my neck. It's my last memory. When I wake up, I'm in a bed. I instantly reach out for Liam, but my hand returns with a fistful of soft sheets instead. My eyes adjust. I'm somewhere different. This isn't rebirth. This isn't any place I know. Machines beep and flash red numbers. Beep, beep, beep. A hidden need in me dramatically reappears. Sweat glues the sheets to my body. Tiny wires are sticking out of my arms. I rip them out, one by one. Each time a new one leaves my skin, the beeping increases. Were the wires providing me with remedy? My heart thumps powerfully against my chest. You don't need remedy, Evangeline. You don't need it. The beeping is screaming at me, slinging horrible memories. I need to get out of here. I struggle to lift myself out of bed. A black strap wraps around my torso, attaching me to the bed frame. I twist to slide out, and pain registers in every nerve. Clawing at the belt, I look for a way to unbuckle it. There's nothing. I can't get loose. I scream for help. No one comes to my rescue. Dreadfully, I look around. There are 2 solid walls, a window, and a partially solid wall with a door in the middle of it. I take a deep breath. This isn't a glass box. But where am I? Green sheets cover my legs. A cup, a pitcher of water, and 2 slices of toast on a small plate sit on the table next to me. A flat electronic box hangs from the adjacent wall. In it, I catch a hint of my reflection. My hair is sticking up wildly, and even from this distance, the dark bags under my eyes are noticeable. The single door opens with a whoosh, and a woman enters, wearing a long, solid white dress with a mask that covers most of her face. She pulls a metal cart behind her into the room, the wheels clunking loudly on the concrete floor. She meticulously removes the tray of water and food next to me, puts it on the cart, and pushes it to the corner of the room. Where am I? I ask her, her green eyes blatantly obvious before she glances away. They aren't hazel, or brown, or black, or gray. They're green. All green. She doesn't respond, and instead presses a red button on the armrest of my bed. Within seconds, another woman arrives that looks exactly like her, except with brown eyes. She's pushing a wheelchair, which she parks next to my bed. Together, they unplug my wires and replace them with new ones, doing the switch so quickly that the sting of the new needles drilling my skin is hardly discernible. The one with green eyes removes the barrier on the edge of my bed, slides it underneath, and locks it into place. Simultaneously, the one with brown eyes quickly moves her hand around my back, unlocking the strap holding me to the bed just long enough to wrap my arms in it and snap it again. Although no longer tied to the bed, my arms are pushed securely to my sides, and the straps make it impossible to move them. They obviously think I'm going to run. And maybe I would if I knew where I am. The green-eyed nurse grabs my feet and delicately moves them to the floor. I contemplate kicking her in the face and making a run for it. Yet there's something about her eyes that prevents me from fighting. Working together, the nurses move me into the wheelchair, adjusting the strap once again so it locks me in place. They wheel me out of the room and into a brightly lit tunnel. We pass several closed doors where I assume other people are held captive just like me. Memories return of the men dressed in black using syringes on the people of rebirth. It must not have been a dream. So if I'm here, is Liam? Who else from rebirth had yet to move to the new location? Where am I? I ask again. This time I find my voice to be more powerful. Whatever it was they stuck me with is wearing off. I can feel my mind clicking and my body working again. Shh. The brown-eyed nurse hisses at me. The green-eyed one glances down and puts her finger to her mouth in a hush sign. She's more gentle. I knew there was something about those eyes. At the end of the hallway, a steel door stands in our way. The nurse with brown eyes walks to the side and scans her watch, where a red light flashes, followed by a series of beeps. The door breaks apart in the middle, with half disappearing into the ceiling and the other half disappearing into the floor. Blinding light radiates from the opening, and I quickly close my eyes in pain. The light sneak its way through my eyelids as my stomach rolls. I have never been around lights this bright. The wheelchair comes to a halt. Tears stream down my face. I try to open my eyes, but I can't. I wonder if they intentionally blinded me.
"Someone dim the lights,"
a man's voice directs. The lights fade enough to remind me of the late mornings back in Impetus, where the sun was fully out yet hiding behind the tall thickets. The nurse with green eyes bends down in front of me, dabbing at the tears on my face with a soft tissue. I blink a few times to erase the blurriness of my vision until the view in front of me is clear. Arched windows cover the back wall and stretch from floor to ceiling of a large conference-style room. Displayed through the window is a scene similar to the one I saw by the train, except with a grander, picturesque view. Glass buildings, taller than the lightstones in Impetus, loom in the background, their surfaces so glossy that each structure next to them is reflected back. Next to the window, a crescent-shaped table stretches from one wall to the next. I scan the top of the heads quickly to count 12. 11 people ogle me like I'm captured wildlife. One person isn't, though. As my eyes continue to adjust, a very familiar face intently stares at his fidgeting hands. Could that be? No. Gavin? My dry throat scarcely allows his name to leak. Steadily, he raises his newly shaven head. His big blue eyes penetrate mine. His lips press firmly together. Gavin's face is bare, revealing the dimple in his chin I haven't seen since he was 14, before he had grown any facial hair at all. His right shoulder is wrapped in bandages that stop before the cast on his arm starts, resting in a blue brace held close against his body. I try to lift myself out of my wheelchair. I need to get to him. But with my arms tied to my body, I don't have the strength to push out. One nurse tightly grips my shoulders, holding me down, making it impossible to move. Please, I need to get to him. I need to get to my Gavin. I need to be in his arms. My mouth is so dry my plea spurts imperceptible noises. All at once, the recollection of the last night I saw that face strikes me. Gavin, Mr. Frank, the machete, his body as it crumbled to the ground, Marlena's eyes. My heart sinks in my stomach, twisting my insides. Heat shoots through my neck and fills my face, lighting my entire body on fire. My chest heaves. I can't breathe. Gavin, I watched you die. We hope you have enjoyed The Remedy Files, Illusion, by Lauren Eckhart. Narrated by Jess Nahikian. Copyright 2020 by Lauren Eckhart, all rights reserved. For more information about this book or other Lauren Eckhart titles, please visit www.authorlaureneckhart.com.